Welcome to the Warframe Weapon Encyclopedia, where today we're checking out the Cestra. You can get the blueprint for the Cestra from the market, and it's definitely one of the easiest weapons to get. It is very cheap. Now, the Cestra is a fully automatic Mastery Rank 4 secondary pistol that does primarily puncture damage with a little bit of impact on the side, and it has very low crit but actually pretty decent status. The best way to describe the Cestra is to simply say that it's a baby Supra, because that's pretty much what it is. There's a bit of a spool up at the start, so you need to fire a few shots before you reach maximum fire rate, and while the weapon is fairly accurate, it shakes the screen quite a bit, especially if you're aiming down sights. So I would actually recommend to try and not aim down sights with this one. Now, since you can get the Cestra very early on and it's super cheap, we're gonna go with a basic build to begin with, where I would actually recommend you don't bother with status at all and you just try to squeeze in as much damage as you can. This kind of a build will actually go quite a long way on the star chart. It feels completely fine until you reach some higher level missions. And it's probably where most people will stop, maxing out the weapon, getting the mastery, then perhaps turning it into the dual Cestra if you want to, but I am not most people, so if for whatever reason you decide to invest more into the Cestra, this is the kind of a build I would recommend. So we have a full build now with proper multi-shot and proper status from the dual stat mod, some extra damage from Augur Pact, and I also decided to include some reload speed because of that extra fire rate we get from Lethal Torrent. Now, this setup can actually pump out a surprising amount of DPS because it has a very high fire rate and the status is great. You can shred armor incredibly fast with this. The DPS, however, comes at a cost, and that cost is ammo. You will need to include some form of ammo mutation with this if you want to run missions. It's great to look at in the simulacrum, but once you take it into a longer mission, perhaps even an exterminate that has 100+ enemies, you're gonna run out pretty fast if you don't have ammo mutation. Okay, so this weapon is old, and it shows. It came out at the tail end of 2013, and you can kind of tell when you use it. But that doesn't mean it's bad. Yes, the ammo economy is horrible, and I personally really dislike the screen shake when you're aiming down sights, but it's actually pretty solid for a Mastery Rank 4 weapon. Plus, it's also cheap as chips, so if you're a newer player and you like the look of it, you might as well just pick it up and give it a shot. I wouldn't recommend it for an advanced player outside of getting the mastery from it, but for a new player, this is actually a solid gun. And if you really like it, you can eventually turn it into the dual Cestra at Mastery Rank 7, which is just a dual-wielded version of the Cestra, and if you really like that one, you can then get the Secura dual Cestra at Mastery Rank 10, which is much better. And that is pretty much it. So I thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video and found it helpful, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.